who is of the Department of Economics at the Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria. He's done 27 publications and 36 citations, according to his biodata, and has done a paper called Effects of Additional Monetary Tightening on Exchange Rate Volatility in Nigeria, 2007 to 2016. That was published last December, and that's part of the profile of Dr. Rafin Dadi, who is part of this MPC meeting. But now we've got my own team here who will be discussing the panel of members of the MPC and take a look at the decisions. Let's bring in this live from Abuja, and of course all the way to Lagos, Nigeria's home of business and finance. But with me here in our Abuja studios for Channels Television is the Associate Professor in charge of finance at the Nasarawa State University, Professor Uche Uwaleke. Good afternoon. Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate that. And we go live to Lagos. We have our panelists there sitting and waiting for this conversation. Robert Omotunde is the head of research at Afrinvest. Is live from our Lagos studios, as well as Peter Moses, who is also a research analyst at Quatros Capital, and of course the chief economist at Vetiva Capital, Michael Famuroti. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us from Lagos. Sorry, unfortunately, I'm not sitting down flesh and blood with you folks today. I'm pitching 10th with Professor Waleke here at the Nigeria's political capital, the home of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Let's get this conversation started. And Professor Waleke, let's get started with you by profiling the new deputy governors and the new MPC members. Let's start with the Aisha Ahmad, who is a new deputy governor coming in from commercial banking.
Yes, I think she'll be bringing her wealth of experience in banking. Of course, you know, for MPC is about essentially about monetary policy, and the central bank is not just there for monetary policy. The central bank is also there for other rules, including banking supervision. And I think she will bring in her wealth of experience, in that regard, to rub off positively on the MPC.
How much of her do you really know?
Well, I know her by reputation. I've not met her one-on-one. The much I know about her is what I've read in the papers, that she's worked in banks, several banks for that matter. And I think at one point rose to the position of is it a director?
Executive director.
Executive director, I
yes.
think in Diamond Bank,
yes.
Before she was nominated for the position of deputy governor. So, and as I said earlier on, banking supervision is one of the challenges effective banking supervision is one of the challenges we are having at the moment. And I think as an insider, just as I also saw Godwin Emefiele as a round peg in a round hole, being an insider and nominated for a position of a governor, I also think that Aisha, will do well as deputy governor of the central bank.
Thank you for teeing this conversation off for us. Let's go straight to Lagos, and I'm going to start with Robert Omotunde from Afrinvest. Weighing on these new members for us, let's profile them together. Robert, in terms of the Aisha Ahmad from Diamond Bank and other banks where she's done some work. What's your take on her?
Well, I think, like the associate professor said, she's bringing a wealth of experience from banking into the committee. Essentially, the Monetary Policy Committee is there to address a number of issues, within the economy. One of which is monetary policy, banking supervision, which is very critical, to the development of, even ensuring that monetary policy measures are easily transmitted into the economy, So, and in terms of technical competence, going by CV, we think that she's well fit for the role, in terms of qualification and experience, having worked in a number of banks, Diamond, Stanbic, and the likes, as was mentioned. But the most important thing, which is very critical for this meeting, is the fact that these new members are injecting if you like, new blood into the committee. You know, we've seen the committee which has done a lot in terms of revamping the economy after we slipped into recession in 2016. You know, of course, some committee members rotated out, some CBN governors, deputy governors retired, you know, and then we have these new members coming in. And for Aisha, we think she's one of the very quality materials that is coming into the team at this time. You know, going by her qualification, she's a CFA charter holder. You know, so from the financial perspective, she has insight into the knowledge of the workings of the financial market, you know, as well as banking, you know, and then you marry that with other quality members on the committee, you know, who have vast experience, whether in teaching, you know, in terms of those who are coming from the academia to join the team of members for monetary policy decision making. So for us, we think it's a positive step, and it's a positive development within the committee at this time.
Robert, thank you very much for weighing in on that. Let's move on to Edward Adamu, who is also a deputy governor. But let's take views from Peter Moses from Codros there. You look at macroeconomic space for Codros Capital, which is an investment and securities trading firm licensed by the SEC. This Adamu is not an outsider, he's an insider. He's been a director at the central bank for many years, and he sits as an observer on MPC. You haven't already, I'm sure you can put your money on Adamu as well, because it's a white horse.
Yeah, thank you, Boasin. I think two major points to note concerning Adamu, as you've rightly mentioned, is the fact that he's an insider, and at the same time, the fact that he has always observed the workings of the Monetary Policy Committee. One thing that should be very clear is this, that monetary policy is actually very sensitive, and that sensitive nature is actually entrenched in the sense that you have a good number of people bringing their inputs together to actually form make a policy and, you know, give a decision. And if you look at the output of such decisions, in most cases, they are, as much as you expect monetary policy to be autonomous, do not forget as well that because you have various individuals forming that committee, you also think about the various autonomous expectations.
Director Generals and MPC members.
Oh no, of such members of committee.
Peter, may I quickly interject? Let's take a quick break. We'll continue this conversation in just about 2 minutes. We'll ask our viewers to stick with us.